Hello, friends. Greetings, Waterdevian nobles, rogues, and ne'er-do-wells. I'm going to ignore that side of the table for right now. Thank you all for joining us on this, the 7th episode of our Waterdeep Dragon Heist game, where the party will be lifting an extremely heavy dragon. Stupid. I'm sorry. I'm just going to leave.
You should be sad.
All right, where last we left our heroes...
I don't get an elven hernia.
We had an elven hernia issue going on. We met all of the denizens of Troll Skull Alley, minus one. Minus some other ones as well, but at least of the ones that you knew to meet up with. And we had a very roleplay heavy session last time. At the end of the session, you all received this note that arrived to you via a folded bird, like an origami bird that landed in your hands. And Sean, just to kick things off, either Sean, I'm speaking to Table Sean, one of you read that note and remind us where we're getting started.
Gotcha. Rainier tells us you're a good bet.
Thank you.
He bought you tickets to the opera tonight at the Light Singer Theater in the C word.
You remembered.
C-ward.
You remembered.
I'm sorry.
Please finish. We can't say C-ward without...
If you are interested, meet Mert at Intermission.
Mert
Private box
is
C.
the word.
Formal attire is required for admittance.
There you go. You all received that note to go to the C ward and witness the opera of all of Tiamat.
I'm good.
Okay, we all good?
Yeah, we're good.
I was
All right.
never not good.
Yeah, okay. Further, in the previous episode, we went into Troll Skull Manor, which was quite haunted. Quite haunted.
Quite.
And they also met a brewmaster, Brickbelle Brewer, Groggy, as they call her, who is going to be assisting with getting the tap room up and running. What was her initial estimate on what it was going to cost to get things up and running?
Between 1,500 and 2,000 gold just to get running.
That's right, that's right. Thank you, Jake. With that, we've had 2 subscriptions and Jake's 500 bits. Thank you, guys. That is
Damn,
3
I would like to say, Jake,
divine rerolls for
I
you
hope
all.
you're feeling better. I saw that you were not feeling well on
No.
Twitter.
Also, I saw Jake's full head of hair looking...
Oh my god,
good, man.
I know.
Okay, so we will pick up with you all. I believe you were on your way back to the Yawning portal, where you still have a room for at least the next couple nights. And what was the plan? I think you guys comfortable picking up on the way there, just to slide back into character, have some conversations, or would you
Never
rather skip
comfortable.
there?
Yeah, that's good with me.
Okay, cool. So here we are. It's getting dark, as I recall. You're walking through the streets of Waterdeep, still quite active. You are now in the North Ward, or you're coming from the North Ward, heading back towards the southern end of the Castle Ward, which is where the Yawning Portal is, so a fairly affluent part of Waterdeep. So all around you, you see nobles, and you see carriages that are richly appointed. Mostly you just see people going about their lives. What would you all like to do or say? Feel free, and we'll get to the Yawning Portal in narrative speed. You guys decide when you want to be there, when you're done chatting.
Well, most likely Uncle Voldo should be at the Yawning Portal, and we can requisition this medium.
If he knows a medium.
I'm sure that he does.
Are we going to go to the opera? What's an opera?
Oh, an opera. It's highbrow, high art, let me assure you. It's quite the event. You have singers telling the epic tales of the realm within song. I'm assuming Elven is typically what's done, but it could be common. I don't know. Though there's all kinds of operas. There should be elaborate sets, well-dressed singers and actors. The audience themselves will be cream of the crop, or so they think.
What am I gonna wear?
We should think about that. It is formal attire, so we're not going to be able to wear our typical leather armor or captain's coats.
That does pose a little bit of a problem. We are short on cash.
We have a bit. It shouldn't cost more than a couple gold to get us outfitted. In fact, probably a great number of outfits for gold. Clothes are cheap. Well, not all clothes are cheap. I don't buy cheap clothes, but cheap clothes are available, even some that look good.
If it is only for a night, it does not need to be.
I want mine to be purple.
Done.
You think anything's open this late?
Getting a bit to dinner time after dark? Doubtful. But we should be able to get something tomorrow and get it tailored in enough time. Plus, we are going to be business owners, so we are going to need a couple of things for when we go out, meet other people, are enticing them to come. We need to look the part. That is always key.
If you say so.
And we can get you a cape.
I guess I did miss out on the cape.
My cape got ruined. Saving you, but that's okay, because you're my friend.
I'm glad I bought multiples. I can say that.
One loves a good cape. Oh, well. So, we've eaten as of tonight, right? Because
They fed us.
Yeah.
Yep, you ate with Avi and Imbrick.
It was delicious.
That was not long ago.
They loved me.
That they did.
Do not believe we need to spend too much tonight either on food and drink. We're just fed a free meal of our new neighbors. It was quite gracious of them.
It was absolutely gracious of them. were
They
lovely.
are wonderful. I can't wait to spend more time with them.
They took quite a liking to you.
I took a liking to them.
And Nami, you now have some distant relation that you finally know of. That must be exciting.
Maybe.
Do you think he's your brother?
He's not my brother.
Do you think he could be?
I don't think he could be.
Do you think he could be like a brother?
He could be like a brother.
Could be like a brother.
That you could be like a brother.
But you could be like my sister, like my best friend's sister. I already have a sister.
Wouldn't she be upset if you had another sister that wasn't really a sister that you called your sister above her?
No.
Okay.
Plus, what she doesn't know won't hurt her.
I mean, she's not here.
She's not.
So what I always say.
As you all are talking, you round a corner and you see a small crowd has gathered. And as you all approach it, you hear kind of all at once the crowd is like, oh! And like then they start clapping. People seem very impressed by whatever they've seen. There's a small crowd, maybe 50 people kind of gathered around. And you now see someone kind of climb up on a soapbox. And he's like, behold the wonders! From the very house of inspired hands, I bring you the mechanical man. And you kind of can just barely see a wooden, circular, spherical object above the heads of the people in the audience.
I have to see what's going on. I love a good show.
Well, I believe he seems to have the interest of quite a few people.
We see a spherical head.
Yeah, just above the tops of people's heads, you can see what looks like a wooden... a wooden head kind of moving about, but you can't see the rest of it.
I don't mind telling you, the uses of a mechanical man are numerous, if I can say so myself.
Like what? Doing the cleaning?
That's one.
Tailoring your suits?
Another. Fighting, protection, physical desires when you don't want to get all muddied with emotions.
Like when I need to go get a piece of bread, but I don't want to get up and get a piece of bread, I can get someone to go get the bread?
Well, yes, that's any servant, really, in all honesty.
I just didn't know what you meant by, like, physical...
Like back massages, if you've ever had a back massage.
Oh, gotcha.
But all over.
And as you say that, you kind of hear that voice again. Behold, the dexterity, the daring do of the creature. And you kind of hear people, and then the crowd is cheering and clapping.
Enid doesn't know what's going on, but she's like...
You all approach it?
Oh, yeah.
All right. You kind of get to the back, and you can see there's like a little kid, like kind of trying to jump to see. Some halflings are kind of like sneaking through legs to get to the front, and you all see this clockwork automaton of a wooden man. He's got these like brass fixtures for eyes and sort of a blue glowing light in them. He's got a hinged jaw. Besides that, he's just very Pinocchio-like. And you watch as it sort of is moving extremely mechanically, and then sort of like does this very graceful bow. In fact, it picks up a flower and puts it in the ear of some like little girl watching, and people are just cheering and having a great time. You see this announcer, sort of an older man with a white, like, kind of pointy beard, and he's continuing to sell, how wonderful this thing is. And you see, he almost looks like a cleric. He has, like, the white, like, not really a frock, but almost like a ribbon that's kind of attached right here and hangs down, down to his knees or so. And you see a golden cog on it. And he's just sort of saying, "Behold the tasks the automaton can perform." And it sort of stands there again looking, and then puts its hands up, and then like rolls down into a somersault, and then comes back up with its hands up. And I mean, people are just like, and it just looks completely clockwork,
Like
but very lithe.
Looking at it, does it seem magical?
It certainly seems fantastical. Its eyes kind of have a blue flame in them. It's not spooky looking necessarily, but so certainly seems at least somewhat magical.
Okay.
It is interesting. I wonder if it could function under the waves.
Would swell and rot, though, correct?
Every time.
Maybe it doesn't have to be made out of wood.
This is true.
He could work in our bar.
Could work in our bar.
You didn't have to pay him.
It's true.
Just have to pay for him.
Do you think that wooden men dream of wooden sheep?
And now, my dear friends, Nim, as I have come to call this one, is tired. We must return to the House of Inspired Hands, where all are welcome under Gon's leadership. And Nim kind of grabs a top hat from a little basket of stuff and starts going around accepting gold pieces from people. And you kind of see people rummaging, tossing in some silver. And every time it does, he bows very gracefully, and his jaw, can't articulate, no lips or anything, but seems very gracious and jovial.
His name was what? Nim?
Nim.
Because he's nimble. I don't know.
Yes.
Did you say that?
Sure. If you had said it.
I didn't. I was just...
Okay.
Okay.
Out of character.
Sure, I'll say it.
Thank you, sir. My man Quinn.
He is very, very nimble.
Oh my god.
Oh my.
The man is "Oh, nimble, you say? Yes, of course. He is the first of what we are calling nimble rights. You see, previous automatons have lacked the grace, the sheer dexterity of anything else, but this one, well, he's one of a kind.
Can I touch him?
One of two, strictly speaking. Of course, of course.
I think I would go in and be like...
He kind of stands there, and you reach for him, and it jumps, and then it's
I would hug him.
You do, and it does the old look around and then hug you back.
This is great.
It's extremely animated since it doesn't have a voice. It's almost like a mime, you know?
Does it feel just like regular wood?
It feels like wood and brass and steel.
I think Whistler's looking for the other side of the hat. You know what I mean? He's running through scenarios in his head. Could it be police? Could it be somebody on the inside? Maybe. No.
It looks like it could not be someone on the inside, based on the sheer thinness of the joints. Where the piece of wood that makes the forearm and the upper arm connect, it's just a small little ball joint of brass, and you can see that it's kind of oiled as you look closely at it. But you can make an insight check if you'd like.
Oh, sure. Sorry. I got a 16.
I mean, as you look at it, you don't see anything that seems less than meets the eye.
Okay.
Or more than meets the eye, I suppose. It looks like it is clearly some magic. I mean, the power source is unclear, but it looks like very gnomish. And in fact, like sometimes as it turns, you can almost hear like things whirring and moving within.
It is interesting. I just wonder if in this scenario, if we were to hire it, we would then have to hire someone to fix it.
Oh, this one's not for hire, I'm afraid. Unless you are, shall we say, extremely flush.
We're not.
Of course not, of course not.
I'll be like, one could have assumed that being only that Nim is one of two, you said.
That's correct. Yes, of course. We are constantly working to improve upon the design here at the House of Inspired Hands, where we pay our tribute to Gond, the father of all smiths.
Is Nim your best friend? Do you spend all your time together?
Well, we do spend all of our time together. I'm fond of him, yes, I'll say that much.
You should tell him that you're friends, because he might want to know that.
Is Nim active at all hours of the day?
Oh, funny you should say. Sometimes, yes, when we're testing out new features, new capabilities. But not always. He rests. Needs to gather back his energy, but more information would be sharing a trade secret, you understand.
Of course. I shall ask no more. We should visit you at some point, though.
You should indeed.
I'll drop a gold in at that point.
It's like, oh, very generous. Nim, you've got a supporter here. And Nim does the thing like it looks at you and does like the... cover its mouth.
You seem to be able to make friends wherever you go, Mr. Whistler.
I think as turning to leave, I'd be like, seems so. I'll be completely honest with you, though. I find it alarming. And a bit unsettling.
As you guys are walking away, you start to see the crowd dispersing. People are laughing, and it's waving to people as they leave.
I think quite honestly, I'd be like, I find it curious. I wonder what something is that has no thoughts or emotions. How do you speak to something like that? How do you know what makes it tick beyond those little pieces of clockwork? No, I'm sure of it. I don't like it at all.
It seems much like magic. I'm trying to not think too much about it.
I know that my sisters can do a spell and make a servant for them.
Oh, one that's unseen.
Yes.
Fantastic. What a wonderful piece. Very utilitarian.
It's a little bit like that.
It is a bit like that. Do you think they've managed to get an unseen servant possibly to move the limbs itself?
That would be interesting.
That would be interesting. Do you think it could be applied to a person?
Why?
Just thinking out loud.
And with that, you all arrive at the bustling Yawning portal. You see a pretty big crowd tonight. You hear cheering coming from within. You just hear like general, loud, kind of jovial, oh, kind of just pouring out of the door. And as you get there, you can clearly see what looks like an adventuring party open the door. And when they do, you just hear, the noise is raucous.
You're in for a loud night, ladies and gentlemen.
Nothing like a full tavern.
Much adventures to be had.
Right, and in you all come. And you see, it's crowded. Like, there's standing room only. People are just kind of jam-packed in. There's an extremely upbeat atmosphere. There's some bards playing some really upbeat songs. There's 3 or 4 bards kind of joining together, including the fiddler that you saw, 3 strings, yep. They're playing this very upbeat, there's like a drummer playing, and you can see these 4 guys sitting up, or 4 humanoids, they're not all guys. There's a dwarf, there's a halfling, there's a human, and there's this old-looking elf, and elves don't look old until near the end. And they're sort of elevated from everyone else. They're sitting up on these, almost on a makeshift, like stage, and they're just laughing and carrying on. They look a little beat up. Like you look at the dwarf, it's this brawny dwarf woman, and her face is like black and blue, blood like dried and caked, armor's in shambles. But you see that they're laughing and drinking, and then you see some bags beside them that look like they're filled with treasure. And as you all come in, Durnan kind of raises a hand to you all. He's like, "Good evening!"
Good evening, Durnan. What's this?
Like, came back tonight! Up the portal!
I understand.
I can't.
Wait, those are all bags filled with treasure?
That's right! They went into Undermountain!
How many ever come back?
Don't think about it yet! Not many! You're not ready! But you are ready for ale?
Yes.
Good, because they're on them! And he points back there, and the wizard just is like, looking at you all.
Is that the elf?
Yeah.
I would give a not necessarily full pageantry bow, but an honest, bow for to legitimately honor them.
Right. And he sort of nods his head back, and the other ones, they're laughing, and you can tell they're starting to tell stories, right? The halfling sort of has people, and he's like, and you can't even hear what's being said, but he's clearly emoting wildly, draws the short sword, and people kind of come back like that, and he's like, just... Yeah, yeah. You have no idea what the story being told is, but clearly about their adventures. And so Durnan pours you all some of your drinks of choice. There's nowhere to sit, but as you all look around, you do see Volo. And you see Volo, and he's sitting at his table, and he's got his head, and he's just like this, and there are tankards of ale around him. There's two that are on their side, and he's just clearly pretty done.
Living up a free tab, I should think.
Well, apparently they don't come back often. You might as well make use of it.
True enough.
Unfortunately, it does not look like our friend is in the mood to divvy out information to us on how to help with our poltergeist.
Maybe he's just in the mood.
How many seats are near him?
Maybe so.
Oh, there's none. I mean, he's at a small, one of those bar tables. He's sitting at one. The chairs have been taken. Yeah. I mean, there is no seating anywhere. You can stand near him, but that's about it. It's just it's a madhouse in there.
Enid, I think you might be right.
That's a good idea. Nothing to hold back like that.
I bet he'd be really happy to see me. I should go say hello.
You should.
I'll go over and I'll just tap him on the shoulder.
Alright, yeah, he's just sort of huh! Enid!
Volo!
These were on the house. Hello! He looks panicked for a second, and then he's like, okay. What brings you back? How is the manor? That's right. The manor that I bequeathed.
It is haunted, as you say.
Have you dealt with it?
No. So scary.
We were hoping you might be able to help us out with a little information first.
Oh! Well, that place did give me a bit of a scare, so I don't think I'll be setting foot there. I could give you some notes I took.
You could maybe tell us someone who can help us with the problem?
Ah, yes. A medium.
Exactly.
Not a small.
Enid, you've got the wit of a writer. Oh, yes, of course. I'd be more than happy to make an introduction. Madame Zucchini is who I've been using. She prefers Zuzu. Madame Zuzu. Yeah, she's wonderful. I've used her many times to speak with spirits. My primary spiritual translator, as it were.
Did she send you her notes?
Guide, sometimes as well. Oh, no, I don't think she's literate, actually. Could be. Never seen her write a word.
Well, then I'll make sure I take the notes and send them to you.
Wonderful. I asked her to proofread me, and she sent it back saying it looked perfect, which I am a wonderful writer, no doubt, but no one is perfect.
True. Do you think she would be available tomorrow even, or within the next few days?
Oh, I think she might be. She runs a little fortune teller shop. I'll write the address down for you. You can pay her a visit tomorrow. Gives you the address. It's somewhere in the C ward, of course. Yeah. How fare you all? Thinking about going down?
No,
Not quite yet.
I would avoid going down as long as I can.
I just went through one portal. I don't. Still figuring that one out.
True.
Of course, yes. Oh, say, were you going to finish that ale? Nami.
She's probably going to.
Ah. Enid, would you be a dear? And see if Dernan can pour me a fresh one. I don't want to lose my seat. You see how active.
Of course.
Thank you, Enid. Thank you so much.
Is it because I'm gonna do it because we're, best friends, right?
Well, we're certainly friends.
But
Yeah.
really good friends.
Probably don't want to be his best friend. He tends to lose his best friends.
Only the one. Well, the one that you know of. Kind of leans back. Anyways.
Well, we've been invited to the opera tomorrow.
Oh?
We were given tickets by Lord Neverember.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Yes, the Tiamat opera. I believe it's opening night tomorrow, you know.
I had no idea it was opening night. We are really moving up in the world.
Congratulations, for sure, yes. I'm very proud of you. In a way. As your uncle.
As our
Surrogate uncle.
uncle.
Sir Uncle.
And you return with his ale. He's like, oh, Enid.
What did you
thank
say
you
while
so
I was
much.
gone?
Well, I was congratulating you on your invitation to the opera. Should be a wonderful time, you know. They're doing this one in common for the first time. Caused quite an uproar in the upper echelons, you know.
I can only imagine.
It was originally written in Giant. Did you know that? Would have liked to see it in its original Giant. I'm, as a speaker of the language.
Say something in giant.
Broch, nah, doch, no.
Did you say best friends?
Yes.
Giant's always been so interesting. It sounds like two boulders rolling and smashing together, but quite beautiful in that. The cacophony of syllables.
I agree. Quite an apt description of it, I would think. Well, I don't think you'll be getting any sleep tonight. The Yawning portal seems to be poised for an all-night bender. So, will you be joining in the festivities, or...?
I suppose.
For a little while.
Should not harm.
I'll play a bit of music. I don't know that I'm trying to get too far gone tonight. We have a big day tomorrow.
Of course, yeah. Me either.
Of course not.
I like you four. You four, you're going places. Yeah.
Where do you think we're going?
Well, I meant less literally.
Bit more abstract. That we're moving up. We should get notoriety. To have your name known is, well,
My
frankly,
name, Enid. Because we're
Enid.
not changing it.
With a number of people knowing Enid, frankly, you've arrived.
He sits back like just watching.
And we should never forget our Uncle Volo.
That's right.
Best friend, Uncle Volo.
I wear many hats, including the finest. He's got like the big floppy hat with a feather sticking out of the side, of course.
But in the meantime, we could actually go somewhere, and I'll look around and see if anyone has any cards out.
Ah, wonderful. Yeah, there's probably 3 tables worth of cards being played
I'll
right
try
now.
to assess who probably looks like the most drunk
All right.
at the
Who's
table.
the best mark?
Make me a insight check. I'm going to give you advantage on it because you're stone sober right now.
How's the 17?
Yeah, 17's pretty good. You kind of scan, you see one table, there's some people like playing pretty serious, like, holding the cards up, fanned out, and they're kind of eyeing each other. Next table over, it's a little bit gone. The table beyond that is just like, full house! And they're like, that's not. And he's like, oh, right, that's, like it's just a disaster.
Alright, we're going. I'll put my arm around yours and be like, there's where we're going. Remember what we did last time?
No.
Good. I'll walk up and be like, greetings.
All right. You see, let's see. She is a half elf woman. Like side of her head shaved, the other side extremely long. She's got piercings up her ears. She kind of leans back. She's like, does the old close one eye. Like, don't recognize you. Coming to play with me and the boys?
Oh yeah, my friend here. She's never really played before, just once, but she says she doesn't remember. I was wondering if we could join.
Never played before, huh? And some guy's like, yeah. I'll tell you what, I was about to be out anyways. And he kind of collects his winnings and kind of stumbles away, freeing up one seat for you all. But you'll have to half cheek it, each of you.
That's fine. That'll make it easier.
She's like, so you've never played Three Dragon Empty, huh?
No. I like your hair. Can I touch it?
She's like, well, sure, I guess so.
I want to like rub the fuzzy side.
She like, oh, that's it. I mean, just feels like a shorn head.
I'm sure, but...
She's like, all right, well, it's a gold piece of ante.
All right, I'll buy us both in.
Do you know how to play?
Mm-mm.
Do you mind if we try and figure it out together, since we're already sitting on the same seat?
It's like, boys, and they're like, all right, sure, fine. And they deal you in. So you play for some time. We'll come back and we'll make a roll. What do you all do? While they plop down at this table and look like she's clearly running a game.
Hydarion first. What do you want to do?
I think Hydarion would walk up towards the adventuring party and kind of listen
Okay.
to their stories.
All right.
Predominantly the halfling, I think, that was very animated. In
All right. Yeah, you see the halfling, and as you come up, he's like, well, as you can imagine, 3 rust monsters don't agree well with me, short sword. And he pulls out just the hilt of a sword, like it's clearly just eroded away. And everyone's like, ah, he's like, but that's all right. I got my mate here, didn't I? And the wizard's just like, the wizard looks done with this. He's like, that's Vita Koth. You may have heard of him. Maybe not. He is one of the most powerful spellcasters in all of Waterdeep. So here I am, hilt deep, as it were, in a rust monster, and I pull out, and there's nothing left. And I'm thinking, oh, this is me end. This is me end right here. But then no. Lightning, fireballs, whatever else kind of, and nothing left but a smoking crater where once there was a rust monster. So anyways, that was just one of the many monsters we fought down there. The wizard's just like, that is fairly accurate.
The tales of your conquest are not exaggerated, no?
He's like, oh, what we exaggerate? Come on, mate.
That is amazing.
They call me Fulur the Honest. The dwarf is like, no one's ever called him that.
Rust monster. How big was it?
He's like, oh, must have been the size of a large dog. You know, about this big. They got the tentacles, and they eat metal. So, as you can imagine, adventurers like you and I, well, rust monsters tend to gobble it up. Before you know it, you're left with just a hilt. And he tosses it to you, and I mean, the hilt clearly, like, it even smells a little bit acrid. Like, it smells like, ozone and melted steel. I mean, it does look like it was destroyed in that way.
This is incredible. Would you like this back, sir?
He's like, oh, of course, yeah. This is a memento. Give this to me kids one day, you know? He kind of tosses it up. But I think we're giving up the adventure in life, given what we found here.
I cannot see that. Is there more down there?
Oh, it's huge down there. Easy to get lost. Found a couple previous adventuring parties. Didn't make out as good as ours, you know.
I think ours can make it one day.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I believe you could. Yeah. You just keep training, keep practicing. That's what I always say. Tell people, practice makes perfect.
Yes, we need to practice more. But first, I think I need another drink.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're on the house tonight, right? That's my idea. And they're all like, yeah, it was his idea.
I think Hydarion would just thoughts of adventure spinning in his head, just go get another ale.
All right. You see Hydarion go and talk to this little halfling for a second, and he leaves, and the halfling watches for a second, and he's like, just, giving some another exaggerated tale. What do you do, Whistler?
I think Whistler is going to... I mean, does everybody seem like they're just paying attention to the adventurers, or they're still just like...
For the most part, but I mean, there's some people who are, clearly enjoying the free drinks, but not paying attention to them. Why don't you make me a perception check real quick?
I'm going to use one of these.
Sure.
Let's see. That's a 10.
Okay. You don't notice anything abnormal.
Okay.
So what do you do?
I'm going to make my way to different groups, especially if there happens to be what looks like any off-duty City Watch people.
Wonderful.
I'm going to maybe designate a single rule. Oh no, I guess all the drinks are on the house, so I don't need to. I will kind of continue to feed people drinks and just try to charm them and learn absolutely anything of importance that I can.
All right. So here's what you do. You do find what looks like one off-duty guard. But you're not sure that you necessarily frequent this place since it's mostly adventurers. But you do see one who just... In fact, you notice it by walking around and looking at the hilts of swords. And you see one, and he's got like the circular symbol of Waterdeep, right? The like half moon or whatever it is, kind of on the hilt of the sword. And he's just leaned in, kind of talking in low tones to 2 or 3 people who are just kind of sitting there. Maybe they're not even paying much attention. And you come and sit down. He kind of leans back. He's got this big, bushy mustache. And he's got a scar down the side of his face. Like clearly has seen some combat, but the flesh has become a little softer in his older age. Doesn't look quite as physically fit. Like he's maybe been a guard for some time and has enjoyed one too many ales at the Yawning portal. And he kind of, you sit down. He's like, "What's your story?"
I'm new here. I guess we're staying here for a few days. Then moving on a bit, we've got my friends and associates have other ventures. But I saw you here. Looked like you had a story to tell. It's quite the scar.
Yeah, got that in a battle with some cultists a couple years back. Not those cultists, this was 20 years ago now. Yeah, they hollowed out part of the sewer, using it as a base of operation. Now we don't technically go in the sewer anymore. It's kind of unspoken, but...
Okay. So, nobody goes in the sewers anymore?
Oh, no, I just mean... He kind of shows the other hilt of the sword.
I saw that you were a man of important bravery. However, I think I misjudged how brave and a man of duty and honor that you were.
He's like, You honor me. Sergeant Bulbeal here. What would you say your name was?
Whistler.
Right. Yeah, so,
Well, I must say, seeing as I'm talking to a guard, my friends and I, as much as we're in for doing good, the situation here is frankly a bit more precarious than I had thought. What with these gangs of ruffians having blood in the streets, I'm a bit afraid.
Well, wouldn't say you need to be afraid unless you're affiliated with any of those guys. Yeah, it's not the worst I've ever seen, but it's the worst it's been in some time. And as he says that, you see a yellow hand kind of do that on his shoulder. And a yellow tiefling, beautiful. She leans in and says, "May I cut in?" And he kind of looks up at her and he's like, "Yeah, sure, should be leaving anyways." And he kind of scooches his chair back, and she kind of watches him go and then turns towards you, sits down next to you. "Sorry, was I interrupting?"
Not at all. However, if we're going to have trouble here tonight...
You don't need to worry. I'm sorry about all that business. It was, for a time, the desire of my employers. But they've come into some new information. And their desire for you has changed. We're going to cut back to you guys right now. So, you guys are sitting there playing cards with these people. We're going to do 3 checks. The first check is going to be a deception check. Who you're really playing it, but letting Enid kind of. What's your plan here with Enid? Let me ask that.
My plan was to do kind of like we're pretending like we're figuring it out together. Well, I'm pretending that we're kind of figuring it out together.
Gotcha.
I know how to play.
But really, you're using
and I know
that.
she doesn't know how to play, so I'm using it to my advantage.
I'm not making any deception because
You're like,
just
what?
being evil.
But you're using that, like, you know her enough, so you know.
Yeah.
So
It's
why don't
played
you?
in.
Yeah. Why don't you make a deception check? I'm going to give you advantage on the deception check because it's a pretty good plan. Kind of using Enid's.
14.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Actually, I'm going to keep these rolls secret. I'm not going to fudge them though. Okay. You start coming out pretty good. You start, kind of early on, and in fact, you know that can raise some alarms, so you kind of throw some after that. So you're kind of about even right now. Go ahead and roll me a d8.
Oh my god, it's been so long since I
I
rolled
know.
dice.
That's the first die roll in some time.
4.
Okay. You're up 4 gold pieces right
Okay.
now. Now that we've done deception, go ahead and roll me persuasion. Because you're kind of
With
trying to lure people into your
regular?
trap. No more advantage. Yeah, that was kind of setting the stage.
14.
Okay. I mean, you feel like people are falling right into the trap. Go ahead and roll another d8. Okay. And you got a bonus on that. You make 10 gold pieces.
10.
So right now you're pretty up. 2 of the people fold and leave, and they're just kind of like, yeah, too rich for my blood.
I'll call it.
Okay.
I'll be like, this was fun. Nice to know that we could figure this out. Enid, did you have fun?
I had so much fun.
yeah, legitimate. The half elf girl, like she's folded and is leaned back, like puts her boots up on the table. She's just kind of like, first time, huh? It's like, all right, yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for teaching us the game. Being patient.
Sure. Beginner's luck. Yep.
Yep.
All right.
Appreciate it. Enid, do you want to try a different game, or do you want to go listen to the music?
I want to go listen to some music. I actually wanted to talk to that elf up there.
All right, let's go do whatever you want to do, my love. Thanks again.
Yeah. Kind of folds her arms and looks at some of the dudes are kind of like leaning back, like.
How much gold did we make?
14. Yeah.
So
14
we'll
in
do
total.
8 for me, 8 for you.
Yeah.
Enid, you were. Wait. You were. Wait.
7.
7. 8 for me. 6 for you.
Yep.
No. Wait. 7 for me. 7 for you. Here you go, Enid. Here's your kite.
Stole 2 on the way off the table.
No need to worry while we're sharing, but appreciate.
All right, we're gonna cut back to you now, Whistler. Trust leans in kind of close, puts her arm like, on the table, kind of in front of you, to where her like she's almost looking past you, so your head is here. You know that like.
Oh yeah.
You know, and she's just like, how well do you know your grandfather? Old hoof and horn, as it were.
I mean, he'll be a little surprised and try to regain it. Well, I know that he's the greatest orator that time has ever known. The master defender of crime and innocence. I certainly know of his dominion, though we've never met. Tell me, do you know my grandfather?
It's a bit complicated. I know him, somewhat indirectly, and my employers are indebted to him right now.
That's not surprising.
Unrelated question. The Stone of Galore. Do you know where it is?
Well, you beat me to the punch. I was about to ask you.
I thought up here, if I keep hearing it buzz, it's gonna bother me. I was afraid you might say that, but there's some buzz about town that you and your group might know a little something about where it is. Let me just plant a little bug in your ear, love. Should you hear about the stone, my employers would stop at nothing to assist you for half.
For half.
Understand that no one else is going to offer you that.
True enough, though. I don't know about your employers, and if we're being honest, That was a bit of a botch job last time on a lowly noble.
Well, you're more capable than anyone gave you credit for. I was happy to see you get away personally. I quite liked you.
I must say that...
Can we put that behind us, though? Moving forward? We've got so much in common.
Sure, we don't need to be cross. We forgive each other then.
Oh, I believe the only forgiving needs to come from you, and I would beg for your forgiveness.
Forgiven.
Wonderful, wonderful. Then we can move forward with a new, perhaps prosperous relationship. My employers are a bit... well, they're secretive. It's very important that you never ask me about them. But know this. They have power in this city. And they need your help.
And I would understand correctly that helping your employers would be helping my grandfather? Or really just helping your employers from my grandfather?
I suppose you could look at it as a little bit of both, in either case. Nothing outside of what your grandfather would be expected. He is quite the contract author.
Indeed. Indeed he is. I'll certainly keep it in mind. I won't ask you about your employers.
Why'd you turn your back on it all, Whistler? Anyone in this bar right now would kill to have the opportunity you have.
Don't quite know. Maybe just a bit of a devil-may-care attitude, if you will.
I like it. Enigmatic.
Then again, who knows? I'm undecided. If that's the path I want, it could be mine at any moment. Why not search out other opportunities first?
Calculating. Well, Whistler, I'll give you this bit of advice right now. There's a lot of people in this city learning about you and your allies. Right place, right time, maybe? Wrong place, wrong time, one might argue. Keep your eyes open.
I will. A quick question, then.
Of course.
Trust. That's a virtue name, isn't it? One you chose. It seems you know at least half of my name. No doubt you don't know the other half. There'd be no reason that you would. But as a show of good faith, what would your name be beyond trust?
She leans back, like against the table. She's like, I guess fair is fair. And she stands up like she's gonna leave, and then stops and bends down low, puts her mouth right next to your ear, and is like, Renobi.
Pretty.
And she turns and walks, tail swishing behind her. Coach, we're going to cut back to you. Anything else you want to do? You don't have to do anything.
I think
you can mingle.
After that, he might go back to the adventurers, but join up with the girls as they kind of went back towards the elf.
All right, we'll have the three of you start moving towards each other. As you approach the elf, are you going with her up to the adventuring party? You get there, and the elf is looking, bored, tired, clearly, exhausted, but not altogether unhappy. Clearly beaming. You don't get into the adventuring life if the payoff you don't want is a pile of treasure at your feet. So he just looks a little bit done with the situation, but not in a shitty way.
It's Grandpa after dinner.
Yeah, it's Grandpa after dinner. I'm trying to just go watch football right now. And yeah, you approach the party, and as you get there, the halfling is still, his voice is getting hoarse now, so anyways, the room starts filling up with not just water. It was filth water. It was filth water. If I'm being honest with you, still got he's just telling some story about a trap and just still carrying on, right?
I would just want to go up to the elf wizard and be like, hello.
Hello. Are you enjoying the drinks?
Thank you so much for buying them for everyone. That's so nice.
He's like, oh, you're welcome. Well, we believe that a rising tide can raise all boats, as they say.
Where do you come from?
Oh, I come from the Misty Forest, of course.
Oh, of course. Where's that?
I thought you looked a little bit odd. You're not from here. You're an Eladrin, aren't you?
Uh-huh.
Wonderful to be so close to Coralon. theirself. That's wonderful. Yeah, it's an elven kingdom, ancient. You'll have to... Well, I should say you'd have to see it someday, but I'm sure it would pale in comparison to anything that you're used to from back home.
Have you been in Waterdeep long?
Yes, we have been planning for this particular excursion for some time, and it is the third of which we have gone on. The first to be so lucrative.
Will you be going home?
I think so. I think this is it.
Well, before you leave, you should go and look at my neighbor's house. He has a greenhouse.
Interesting.
It's called Coralon's Crown.
I hadn't heard of it.
Can I just tell him, like, the cross streets?
Yeah, you give the details. They.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
Fala is they.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, that does sound interesting. I'll have to investigate it on my way out. That sounds wonderful. Thank you.
Well, when I saw you, I just thought of it, and I thought that I should tell you, because you look nice.
Well, thank you. That was very thoughtful of you. Please enjoy drinks.
You thought it was thoughtful?
I did.
Bye.
All right. Farewell.
How did your cards playing go?
It went well. Could have been a little better, but never want to risk too much.
On a scale from 1 to our third game on the ship, how well did it go?
More like our second game on the ship.
Okay.
Nothing will be the third game. What a night.
You should have seen us.
We never did find a shoe.
I'm gonna give you an inspiration for that. I can figure out where they are.
They're up here, man.
Oh. Right in front of me? Cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, alright.
It was quite a night. We had the whole ship going. They thought I was bad at cards, but then I was good at cards all of a sudden. And
I was good at cards tonight, I think.
So I have heard.
Pretty good at
And
cards.
then, after a time, I had gotten so low on money, I had to bet my shoe. But I could not find it. We are so deep in the grog. It was an affair. And then...
He'll never tell you what he ended up betting because he couldn't find a shoe.
That is a story for another day. Unfortunately, the captain happened to win that hand, and then we had shore leave. It was grand times. I'm deeply saddened the captain could not win you just as much gold in fun times.
We got a little, though. In fact, enough for me to get the taste for it. Would anyone be interested in spending the rest of the night getting a little more gold for our outfits tomorrow with me?
Could be persuaded to jump in a game or two.
Help get you a nice cape.
Nice cape.
Maybe some velvet, one with pockets.
Velvet is not waterproof as much as I would like.
Well, hopefully we won't be going in the sewers anytime soon, so it doesn't really matter.
Always plan for emergencies.
Just get some more wax.
We could see if they have a nice all-weather cape.
Heidi,
Yes,
how much of this free ale have you had tonight?
only a couple of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Alright.
Us Tritons do not hold our ale very well.
Imagine that.
I'm gonna go around and try to do a trick for money.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna try.
Like,
Yeah.
trick?
No, I'm not turning tricks. I'm make it.
Okay, alright.
This isn't
It's like, hey, what role would that be?
God, no.
Role play it. Come on.
All right, so I would try to take one of them with me. I don't know who would want to go, unless both of you would.
I'm gonna go off and find Whistler, I think.
This would actually work out great with Hydarian. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go around to the tables and show that I can do a trick and that I would take a donation if they would like to participate too.
Okay. And
So I'm going to take the ale from their glass and shoot it, because I can move water, and shoot it up their nose and down into their throat.
Alright. The first one's like, okay, cool. That was pretty interesting.
But it'll look better on like breathing water anyway, so it'll look painless.
All right. Yeah, and you can shape it so you kind of turn it into.
I'll make it in like a little spiral that just like snakes its way.
It's like in cartoons when they smell something and it grabs them by the nose, you know?
Like Pepe Le Pew or whatever, like.
Exactly.
It's like a Bud Light natty pot.
Oh my god. A natty light pot.
Okay, that's interesting. Why don't you roll persuasion? I don't think I'm going to give advantage because it's so weird, but I am going to give you an
Dude, I'm just making
performance roll here.
21.
I was thinking anything above 10 is how much gold you get for the rest of the night. Like, it takes some time, because people aren't giving you, they're giving you silver here and there. So you make 11 more gold before it's time to turn in. And speaking of which, we're going to assume the rest of the night goes relatively uneventfully, unless anyone else wants to do anything else. That does get some people's attention, particularly towards the end when people are really drunk, but Hydarian's like, please, no more. Like, you gotta shoot it up his nose. And just
Oh, man.
and with that, I think we're gonna go on our first break, and we will return in the morning with Hydarian's sinuses burning. BRB, everybody. Hey everyone, Steven from Castle Mac here. Wanted to take a moment to play this video over the break so that we wouldn't eat up time when we come back, so that we can get right back into the role-playing that we think you're here for. Wanted to sincerely thank you for being here. It truly means the world for us, really, you guys. We're overwhelmed by the support that we receive from you all, so truly thank you. Let's get some administrative stuff out of the way. As you may or may not know, you can find us on YouTube. There's a link right down below the video. We've got all kinds of links down there. Or you can find us at youtube.com/c/CastleMac, or searching for Castle Mac will pull it up. I do my best to get all the videos up within 24 hours of their live stream, so there shouldn't be much of a delay. Usually I'm faster than that, sometimes just a little bit behind. But every back episode is there, so you can go check them out. Finally, you can find us all on Twitter. That's pretty much where we mostly hang out in the social media world. All of our Twitter handles are visible within the player tags, although we're pretty easy to find. Just do the @CastleMac and it'll fill out with the 6 of us. So give everybody a follow and let's talk D&D. It's pretty much all we want to do all the time. Another link down below you'll see is our Bandcamp. All of our music is completely original. This is done by Castle Mac Andrew, and he's done just a phenomenal job. You can go listen to those tracks individually at our Bandcamp link. You can also purchase the album if you'd like to show him some support. He's got more stuff in the pipe, and it's going to be just fantastic. Finally, we do have a podcast. Speaking of audio, you can find us on iTunes under Castle Mac and other places that good podcasts are found. We're a little bit behind right now, but we're going to be caught up and have all the episodes for your audio pleasure. Finally, our Discord. The link is down below again. This has probably been the biggest hit with us. We love it so much. Lots of people come and hang out. We've made tons of good friends, lots of new friendships forged there. It's just fantastic. It's a really good community. So we invite all of you to come join us and have a good time. A lot of times after shows, we will hang out in the Discord voice chat, so you guys can come and we can all just kind of hang out a little bit. It's a lot of fun. Finally, let's talk about Divine Inspiration. As you've probably seen by now, every 500 bits or subscription equivalent earns our players a divine reroll. We think this is a really fun way of letting the viewers sort of act like they're the gods of the realm. They can subtly guide the actions of the players, whether it's, guiding an arrow or moving a shield over just a hair. So we really appreciate that. That is the immediate tangible benefit, but do want to talk about, what we do with those bits. We reinvest absolutely every dime we make into the stream, and you can look back at some of our older YouTube videos and see in a very short time we've come a long way. We really use that to pay for art. We've done tons of artist commissions, from overlays to character artwork, and we will continue to do so. We think artists make this community incredibly vibrant and bring visuals to life. I don't think any of this works without some of the wonderful art that people have done, and also equipment. As you probably know by now, if you spend any time with us, we have been making huge improvements to our audio, and that is really our number one focus right now. So we are saving up for a comprehensive audio equipment overhaul. Both Andrew and I have some background in recording, and we are really hoping to make that leaps and bounds better than what it is right now. We're really making do. It's challenging to mic a room full of people with broad dynamics, from whispers to shouts when people roll 20s. So we are being very thoughtful, and we're really focused on making that as absolutely amazing as we possibly can. And so you all are helping us with that every time you donate even a single bit. We really, truly appreciate it. Okay, let's get back to the break. We'll see you guys in just a few minutes. Thank you again for being here. It honestly means the world to us. So we'll see you soon. All right, we're back, everyone. We're going to start with a quick little scene of Whistler has retreated back to the room, and Enid, looking for Whistler, you walk in the room to find Whistler pensively playing his violin.
Oh.
Maisie. It was really
There's a dog in the next room.
Licking.
In their loins.
And it's not Whistler.
That would be something.
I think I'm looking out the window, so I'd continue.
I would walk in and just kind of listen for a minute. It's a pretty song.
Oh, Enid, my sweet flower. Turned in from the festivities.
Yes. Nami and Hydarian are doing some funny trick, and I just got a little tired.
I have no doubt that they are.
Quick cut to like, playing beer. He's like, cut back.
What are you doing up here alone?
I was just thinking of a story from my childhood. Reflecting on it. Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
It's a story my father told me.
I think before you start, like, I would come and sit like right,
Cross-legged.
yeah, like right in front of you, like.
There once was a prince. This is how all good stories start, you see. Who wandered into the woods one day when he heard some music that he couldn't get out of his head. Once in the woods, he found a beautiful woman there, who beguiled and bewitched him, because she was in fact a witch. She had to make all the promises to keep her honest, as they enjoyed their passions. And he did. And before his eyes, a child was born, and she was revealed as a witch herself. And to keep his promises, he had to raise this little witch boy and keep him safe. For one day, he had to go rule the wicked swamps of the south. But as this king held this hideous, half-evil little witch boy in his arms, he did the most unexpected thing. He loved him, without condition or reservation. And the boy was raised. And one day he went to live with his mother in the swamps, and finding them an awful place, missed his father and went back home, only to find that the witch had cursed the father to death. So the witch boy left to figure out if he's supposed to rule the swamps or if he's supposed to be a prince elsewhere. The end. I never heard the end of the story, so I was musing on what the witch boy chose.
That's so nice that the father loved him unconditionally. That's how I love all my friends.
And that's what makes you so special. That's what makes you powerful, in fact, more powerful than most people in Waterdeep. Do you know why?
Why?
Because you're kind.
I don't know how else to be.
And look at that's what makes you unique. I mean, he'll touch her cheek. I'm sure that father would have loved you. You would have fit in nicely there, I would think, from what I could guess.
Maybe not in the swamp.
Not in the swamp, definitely not in the swamp. And I hope you never go to the swamp, in fact.
Did you go to the swamp?
No. Not at all. I'm lying. If you want to roll something, you can.
No. I don't think I have a very good,
Yeah.
Lie detector.
yeah.
Thanks for listening to my story.
Thank you for telling me.
And at that note, you hear just outside the door, like, Hydarian's come in, like, wiping his face, trying to get ale out. Nami, you're just, like, counting your gold.
That was most horrendous, Nami. But you cannot.
Got you a little bit more drunk, though.
I did not need to get a bit more drunk.
Just think about all the extra things you can get inside of your cape tomorrow.
Pockets.
Pockets.
Multiple pockets.
You know, when we own a tavern, there's an old saying that a tavern keeper can't drink all their own stock, so I'm going to be watching both of you.
I didn't drink at all tonight.
I'm sure you didn't. Then I'm looking at you. I'll keep a
I
close
drank
eye
a
on
lot
you.
tonight.
I'm probably going to have to stay close to you just to make sure that you don't drink us out of business. Just be like your
You
shadow.
always stay close to me, Whistler.
I'll look at them.
Whistler!
You're always close to me, Whistler.
I'll wink at Nami.
All right.
I would recognize Whistler's, or I'm sorry, Hydarian's level of drunkenness.
I think so. He's
And
pretty toasted.
I would come in.
Beer shoved up his nose
Yeah.
for like an hour.
I'm pretty sure if you take beer through the nose, it gets to your brain faster or something.
I'll give it a shot, but I would help him and like go like help him lay him down and like take his shoes off and be like, Nami.
All right,
all
we
good
will
fun.
cut to the next morning, and unless anyone has any thing else they want to do, we will cut right to you all walking into the clothier, who, if you recall, assuming you return to the same one, was Finfina Banfix Faiza Yause.
Finfina!
And she was looking for a swamp bog.
Yeah, she was.
I think with Nami, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Gnome female, she's got straight black hair, shaved on one side, and nautical tattoos. Remember, she was like a former sailor.
What's with the half shave and Waterdeep?
It's the going Waterdeep fashion right now.
It's a fad.
And so, the little bell, bling, 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 bling. She's like, can I have... Oh! You've come back! Please, come in. What can I get for you? What can I do for you? And you ruined the previous capes pretty bad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, what happened to... It's like looking at it. Just comes around and kind of tugs at it. She's like, oh, you didn't.
Maybe we just wanted an excuse to come back in.
Oh, what can I get for you?
Well, tonight we've been invited to go see a what is it called? A play.
It's the opening of the opera.
She's like, oh, fancy. Are you all nobles?
Well, I
No,
We're good at making friends.
I see that.
me especially.
Her especially.
Awesome. Wonderful. Who needs, well, we've got a fine selection, of course, but I'd be more than happy to custom tailor something.
I would
if
love
you'd
that.
rather.
You know, I'll take Hydarion over here, as I've been to quite a few. That way, you could spend the most time with Nami and Enid, of course.
You're an excellent outrider. Nami.
Please, Hydarion.
Oh my God.
But I'll back up looking at you the whole thing.
Aaron's still holding his head.
She's like, Nami, need something a bit more waterproof?
Well, considering what happened to the last one, I suppose.
I'll tell you what, give it to me. I'll see if I can clean it up. But would you still like a new one?
I suppose a new one for the events of the evening. would-
Something high society.
I
Ooh, that's
suppose.
exciting.
Never attended anything like this before.
Then let me help you. And she kind of whisks you to the mirrors and clearly is paying way too much attention to Nami and is like, oh, Enid, try that one on. Looks great. All right, here we go. This, you're just kind of like,
I'll beckon Enid over and be like, come. We'll stay here as Nami needs the most attention.
all right.
I will assist. I'll pick up a random measuring tape, as I'm sure it's around, and be like, I should take you a measurement.
Oh my god.
All right. What do you think your cape would look like?
Are we just getting capes
I
here?
think
or
you're
are we
getting fine clothes in
Yeah.
general,
Okay.
but for our purposes, the cape is the only thing that matters.
Yeah, I think Hydarian would go for a yellowed gold look almost.
All right. Cool.
Lando.
Yeah. Like yellow, gold on the inside, purple on the outside, Lando style.
Yeah, sure.
All right. You find some fine clothes. Whistler is certainly able to help. She pays most of her attention to you. You get some custom tailored stuff. for about the same cost. Everyone's going to pay 2 gold pieces for the fine clothing. But Nami, as she's helping you, she's like, hey, this could be weird. Feel free to say no. Do you want to, like, go have dinner sometime or something? I mean, nothing, like, just as friends or otherwise or whatever. Just, you know, if you're making friends in Waterdeep or... but you kind of start stammering, getting nervous.
I'll let her keep going.
She does, too. She's like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what kind of food you like. I can show you what kind of food I like, but, you know, we could also go somewhere else. Anyways, I'm rambling.
Yeah, I like to eat.
He's like, oh, cool.
A lot.
Great. She turns out, you guys are looking back, and there's a mirror. She's like, yes. You guys clearly see it, but Nami doesn't. All right, you all get your fineries. If you would like to describe what your fancy clothes look like, go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward a little bit through the shopping experience, unless you guys really want to focus on it.
Definitely am not only wearing, but I am not wearing a dress. I'm wearing nice trousers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna wear a dress, and I want it to be purple.
Okay. And you're generally allowed to have your weapons on you too. And in fact, I think you know.
Oh, at the opera too.
I think so. Yeah, I think Waterdeep is pretty loose about it.
I think Enid probably didn't have a favorite color until she met Zablob, and she was like, "Well, yeah, obviously I love purple."
Me and Zabi.
Yeah, he's my friend, and he likes purple.
Devoted to purple.
So,
Must be the best.
like, if there's ever a chance to buy something in a color, Enid will choose purple.
All right, makes sense. So yeah, you get a nice purple dress. It's the most ill-fitting of everyone's, but it's still not like it's nice. You bought, you know. You knew to at least try it on and everything, and she did like maybe a little bit of custom tailoring. But Nami rolls out looking like you got a new cape, and it's got like a sash that goes across the front and like a brooch that connects it. Like just looking pretty awesome.
And sharp. Be a shame if I had to go in the sewers in this one.
I'm not buying a new cape because I actually bought a number of capes and coats the first time, but sure, I will buy some new clothes. Again, the typical white pants.
Mm-hmm.
And I will have a small, like, white jacket that goes under what's going to actually be one of my coats. I'm just going to wear the coats not with my arms in it, around there, loose, and a clasp. And then I think my shirt will typically be, it'll almost be a pattern of, like, purples, greens, and blues, looking almost like a peacock that will be opened and down.
Love it.
I think Hydarian's is actually slightly militaristic themed almost.
Oh yeah, you got like the jacket with like the piping or whatever that's called, the like gold.
The gold
trim.
Like trim and piping all. It buttons
shoulder
up
boards.
pretty high. No shoulder boards, but it's definitely like a single shoulder cape that's fairly short.
Hell yeah, brass buttons.
Yeah,
awesome. All right, yeah, you guys get it, and she's watching you guys leave. Like, okay, see ya, and I'll just send you a message at the Yawning portal and.
Yeah, that's where we're staying.
She's like, just cool. All right.
Call on me.
You guys look great. You guys are going to blow them away.
And if not at the Yawning portal, we could be staying at our new place. It will be called the Blue Boat, but it's Troll Skull Manor for now. We'll get you an invite for friends and family on the opening night.
She's like, that would be fantastic. Oh, I'm so glad I met you guys. Okay, see ya. Bye, Nami. Where to now, fam?
Well, real quickly, I'll be like, Nami, I don't know what your willingness would be, but if we could find any way to get more fine clothes at a discount in the future, or maybe just keeping up relationships, I would like that.
What type of person would fake a friendship?
I would feel like...
I'm just joking, of course.
Of course. I'd be like, I wouldn't want to stand in the way of real feelings anyway. Who knows? Sometimes, fake it till you make it.
Heidi, how's your head feeling?
My head feels better than my nose. It's quite sore. Does not feel the best. We cannot be doing that trick every night.
Just making sure. Before we go on, I was wondering if maybe we should get you some sort of tincture of sea salt and water.
I will be fine. Eventually I will come round to being in tip-top shape in time for the opera. In the meantime, though, we do have to kill Madame Zuzu's. Might be...
That's what I was about to say. Madame Zuzu, if we could get this taken care of today, that would be ideal. Though if we're going to Trollskull Manor, I actually don't think I'm in the nice clothes. I think we just have them.
Yeah,
right?
you bought them. You have a nice box. It's like got paper in it.
Saying,
Yeah, we do.
I will be changing before I
Yeah.
go into that grimy place.
Lesson learned.
The quicker we can get this solved is the quicker we can get the coin trickling down the waterfall, so to say, and things getting cleaned up.
Interesting analogy. Yes, we could stay there, which means we're spending less. It is disgusting right now, but we won't be spending more.
I think a good wash can't help. I have scrubbed many a deck in my time.
I haven't.
I can tell you.
Did you say deck?
I can tell you, a good brush will go a long way, sir.
Well, maybe you'll just have to enlighten me.
Hi, thanks for the raid, y'all.
I've watched him do it too. He's really good at it. I usually just pay people to do it for me.
I feel like Enid is just like,
So oblivious. What are you guys talking about?
I'll close my eyes and gather my resolve.
Once he starts working on something, he won't stop till it's done.
Oh, we need to stop now. I'm feeling faint.
Whistler, do you need to get new pants? Those seem to be a little tight.
That's how I like it.
So this medium. Alright, I'm feeling well, my friend.
To the sea.
To the C word. All right, you all arrive, and you find this little, almost ramshackle-looking place, and it's got this wooden sign that is a hand holding a circle. Looks like a fairly crudely made crystal ball, and you can see that it says Madame Zuzu's fortune telling. It's got like all the like palm reading, tea leaves, like it's got like the list of services.
Why do I feel like some creepy shit's about to happen?
I'm like, ooh, the arcane arts. Dark magic. Profane, maybe.
my sisters were really good at magic. They would love this.
Oh, would they?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
They studied very hard. Not me.
Well, because you didn't need to.
You're a natural.
That's not true.
True.
It backfires sometimes. Thousand yard stare.
We might have to revisit that later. Shall we?
Oh, she won't help us with our poltergeist by standing outside.
True enough.
Well, if she could read minds, she might just come out.
That's a good point.
Is a good point.
Let's just stand here and think. Come on.
I'm going to open the
Come
door
on.
now.
You keep thinking about it.
Right. You push the door open and you come into a room. There's like curtains like draped everywhere. Like it's almost looks like a harem, I guess, but it's just got those like dark like purple and burgundy curtains everywhere. You can smell some incense burning. And you in fact see this like little frail old woman who's like sitting in an armchair and she's got a book open. She looks up at you all as you approach and you hear a cat like meow, and she's like, I seize him. Closes the book. Puts it on a little end table. It's like, welcome to Madame Zuzu's. Have you come seeking your fortunes?
Potentially. That actually sounds quite interesting. We've also come to requisition your services.
Do continue.
You were recommended by a one Mr. Volo.
And how is my friend?
He is Volo.
He's wonderful. I'm helping him. Taking notes.
That is darling. Well, what is it Madame Zuzu can assist with?
We have been bequeathed a manor here in Waterdeep. However, it seems to be haunted. We don't necessarily at this moment have a wish to dispel or get rid of this apparition.
Good, because I don't do exorcisms anymore.
We would just like to open a dialogue, and thus far, we are not able to.
Well, I can assist you. 15 gold pieces.
That.
You find these services somewhere else?
No. Tell me though. Would it be possible to get our fortunes on the house in that case?
You drive a hard bargain. After the seance,
After this.
I tell all of your fortunes, yes? Madame Zuzu, do this for you.
Any objections?
And for me,
No objections.
Wonderful. When would you like to perform this seance?
Well, we were hoping you might be free right now.
This afternoon, we have an...
In the daylight? Oh, no. You see, the veil is the thinnest in the evening, when the starlight is beaming through.
we do have an appointment later this evening. Maybe,
The opera. Sorry, so excited.
Well, Madame Zuzu, be free for you tomorrow night.
Maybe later after the opera.
Oh, you are an endeavoring bunch. Madame Zuzu be tired, but what do you think, barnacles? Meow. We do it. You will come here after the opera. Get Madame Zuzu. And bring me something to eat from the opera.
Do they have food?
They should.
At an
if
opera?
It's worth any opera worth its salt should have food.
You Stumpy? Good to see you, buddy. All right. Madame Zuzu, do this. Tell me about the ghost. What do you know about him or her?
It casts visions through the head.
Some sort of illusions.
Yes, they do this. You know, they feed on your energy. A bit like a ability to read fortunes.
It opened the door for us and then basically kicked us out.
Well, the place has been trashed. This Volo said it was a poltergeist.
Yes, a vicious spirit. You know, they can be as conflicted as we are, and more so. They are so confused sometimes. They lose a bit of themselves and crossing over.
That makes complete sense to me.
It would be like waking up one day and only remembering half of your life, and being so confused when people try to speak to you. Madame Zuzu make it okay for the spirit.
It does seem to get worse. It's a 3-story house, but as we reach the 3rd floor, that seemed to be where most of the malicious intent emanated from.
You know, some spirits, they are here because they can't move on, or because they won't. The spirit, do you know how it died? It could have been violent.
So far, we have been unable to open any ways of communicating with it or learn or ascertain anything about it from our
Poltergeists
guests.
sometimes racked with guilt. Do you know anything about their life?
Well, we know that the former owner was an elf named Sif. It was shuttered up about 6 years ago. We know that Sif had a daughter. I didn't make that up, right?
No, that's true.
Myrdia, I think.
Myrdia. So that was the only owner, proprietor, and inhabitant of the house. We've found no information on either Sif nor Merida.
Well, should you have time to find the daughter, perhaps she can shed some light on the situation. Otherwise, we will speak tonight to the spirit. But come with an open mind.
I have the openest of minds.
He does.
Wonderful. Then I will help you with this spirit.
Good. Did you know of a tavern known as the Brave Hand?
Can't say I do.
That
Was
is-
this the former...
This was the establishment, yes.
and you inherited it? From Volo?
He gave us the deed.
Although I believe swept in and purchased it.
I see. I have not heard of the tavern, but you could always look up records. You could... It sounds like you already know who was the former proprietor. Find the daughter, perhaps. The living are always a link to the dead. All of the ancestors. They speak to you still. They watch you, protect you, sometimes judge you, but they are with you.
If they're able to be.
Whistler,
Yes.
you do not cast a shadow.
Observant. Here I thought nobody would notice. Not one of you.
Do you know why that is? Because your ancestors do not travel with you.
That makes complete sense to me.
Whistler, I just didn't want to say anything about it.
Oh, you're so sweet.
I don't want to hurt your feelings.
Like, have you seen this before by chance?
Yes. But we don't talk about that, do we, Barnacles? Cat stretches and, like, does it, like, on her leg.
Making biscuits.
Yeah, making biscuits.
Perhaps we can speak of that another time after these services are rendered.
Perhaps. There go. Enjoy the opera. I see you this evening. Madame Zuzu, be closed. Madame Zuzu, take a nap. Come, Barnacles, we sleep.
Oh my god.
There are 3 barnacles now. What time is it when we walk?
Oh, it's like noon right now.
Noon? Oh,
Yep.
we have plenty of time.
It's nooners.
So, to the Hall of Records, if we can find
Meridia.
Mirdia.
Meridia.
Apparently I wrote it wrong.
If we can find the full name
It is
of
Mirdia.
the full name of the former owner by the records from the bar, we should be able to then locate the daughter if she has the same name.
We are overlooking one tragic option. It could be Meridia haunting Zibar too. Could
Well, in the records, we could find out she's dead.
You can check the records for them both.
Unfortunately, we do not have a last name for Sif, just that he was the owner of the Brave Hand.
But if we find the permit for the Brave Hand, we should find the last name. I'll bloop his nose.
You mean like...
Oh yeah, I'll boop the
Nose
nothing
holes.
that's
And
in
it
between.
burns.
Yeah,
as
this-
It lodges a pack of beer.
Yeah.
Unless we have something else we'd rather do.
I do not think we have any other better way to occupy our time. Best to stay productive.
Sounds like a safe way to pass time until we're expected.
I think so. We'll probably have to go to a few halls of records and the magistrates that keep these in the archives. I doubt they're all in one place.
That would be way too many scrolls.
Indeed it would. Probably ledgers.
Alright, here's what we'll do. Takes 4 hours. Why don't each of you make 2 investigation checks? We're gonna skip past the role playing, I think, of searching for stuff, if that's okay with you guys.
You said perception?
Investigation.
I got a 20 and a 19.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
I got a 16 and a 5.
Okay.
8 and a 14.
5 and an 18.
Okay, you guys got more than half. So after some searching, you go to 3 different halls of records, talk to some very stuffy individuals. Here is what you find. The former establishment was owned by Sif Uldazone. And you do in fact find Sif's death record. That he was found hung, probably suicide, in the tavern itself. Shortly thereafter, the daughter, Mirdia Uldazone, went missing from the records. 7 months after the death, registered a place where she dwelt, but then no more check-ins in that place. Like, she just disappeared. No death records, but is missing.
Gotcha. And how long does it say she's been missing? So 5 years?
So it'd be 5-ish years. Yeah, 5 years and change.
But she had registered a new residence?
She had registered a residence in the North Ward.
It has the address?
Yeah.
Well, should we try to just go check the address?
It is the only lead we have.
I'll say this. There's also a landlord listed. And so you find the landlord's record.
Okay.
It is Trerdar Hollowbone.
We could maybe check with the landlord and see if...
About 4 o'clock now.
And what time does it start?
It'd be like 7:30.
Okay.
We could make a quick check to the landlord and see if he was let know in Meridia's plans, or...
That would be the best bet. Don't know if we have time to continue to track down the rest of Meridia. Plus, if she's been missing this long, doubtful that we're going to find her now.
She might not want to be found.
She might not want to be found. That's exactly right.
I know what that's like.
There are some of us who do not wish to be found, yes. So.
Tell me, my dear, that's interesting to me. As I wouldn't think that many people know you here.
Well, no, not here.
Do you think people from the Feywild will be looking for you?
Probably my mom and dad. My sisters probably not. They probably know where I went. I told them.
Interesting. So do you think your parents are pouring resources or are themselves searching through the material plane for you?
I don't know.
We'll keep you safe no matter what you want to do.
They do love me. So they might. Or they might know that this is what makes me happy. I don't know.
Either way, it's a win-win. They show up, you get a happy reunion, tell them you've moved on with a new family. That's us. And they kiss you goodbye and you get to live with us forever.
It would be hard for them to get here. You have to time it just right. I spent years figuring it out.
Really? And you said you never studied.
Magic.
All right. To the landlord?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You get to this. There's these nice, tidy row houses. It takes you a little while to find them, but they're pretty affluent here in the North Ward. Kind of one of the nicer parts of the North
Nothing
Ward.
like the C word.
Nothing like the C Ward. It's much nicer. And you get there, you knock on the door, and a servant opens the door. Like, may I help you?
Is Master Hollowbone in?
Do you have an appointment?
We do not, I'm afraid. But we were hoping that his charity would see us anyway.
You're not in your fine clothes, right?
No, but my clothes are still...
Yeah, you're still... He's like, one moment. Here. Up some steps. Sound recedes. About a minute and a half later. Master Hollowbone will see you. Please, do come in.
Many thanks, but I'll also start putting on airs of not addressing the servant quite as much.
Gotcha. He kind of looks at the ground as you all come in. You come upstairs at where he guides you to a parlor, a sitting area, and there you find an older man, portly, with a red smoking jacket on, and sitting across from him is a woman, possibly his wife, wearing like a white gown, and she's drinking some beverage very daintily. And he's like, I'm afraid I don't know you. We didn't have an appointment, so what's this all about?
Well, pardon our intrusion on your afternoon. We're hoping you might be able to help us with a bit of information.
Well, I could certainly try. He kind of looks at her, and they kind of share a look. He's like, what can I do for you?
We are looking for Merida Oldazone.
Uldazone. Merida. What was the address you said? 17 Leeward Street?
Yes, that's it.
As it happens, I do remember the young lady. Yes, quite a problem, as a matter of fact.
Really?
She destroyed the property, left it covered in graffiti. Yes, something about the Scarlet Demon Sisterhood. Symbols all over the place. Sigils, things that were frankly unsettling, if I'm being honest with you.
That sounds unsettling.
Disappeared, broke a contract, presumably hasn't appeared since. I contacted the City Watch, but evidently nothing came of it. Spent quite a bit of coin cleaning up after her.
Have you heard of that before?
No, of course not. I wouldn't dare touch anything quite like that.
Well, should we prove to find this Merida, you should see that you get repaid. I have a hard time with anybody who breaks a contract.
Quite. Well, is there anything else?
I don't think so. You've been most charitable, and we shall remember that.
Be ye...
I'll always remember how nice you are. You're very nice.
Thank you. Be ye adventurers by chance?
Hey,
You have a keen eye.
How can I contact you? Should the need arise, and he and his wife lock eyes.
Just leave a note at our new address.
If it's in the next few days, you can find us staying at the Yawning portal. After that, if we're not there, we should be at Trollskull Manor.
Wonderful. Pleasant day to you all. See them out, please. Yes,
Pleasant
my lord.
day.
And you all are led away.
The Scarlet Demon Sisterhood. That sounds so ominous. I do love the occult names, though.
it is a new player in the game on board at the moment.
We should see if that's in any records. That's how you learn things.
That's a good idea, though I don't know if the Scarlet Demon Sisterhood is going to have registered with the magistrate.
That's
That
the
is
rules.
one we are going to have to
I don't
pick the
think
brains of.
We could ask Yagra.
that's a good idea. A gang knows all their enemies.
And potential allies too.
Not many allies, but yes.
For the right price, an ally can be bought though.
True enough. Those Scarlet Demon Sister doesn't sound much like sell swords to me. They sound like believers. We should stop by and see if the... No, he said they cleaned up. But the sigils... We should look out for those. You're right. Could be a still current player, but it might just be what was a player. Or it could have got reabsorbed into another organization.
We have seen various acts from all different sides so far, and even been caught in the middle of them. It would be wise of us to tread lightly until we know what kind of shell is clamping down around us.
I agree. Though, all of those going around, while we're doing the adventuring and fixing up Trollskull Manor, there could be an opportunity to clear the board a bit. For the good, will of everybody in Waterdeep, of course, but also to make a bit of room for us.
The board is only so big. Some players must fall for others to join.
You don't know how it makes me feel to hear you speak my own language, Hyderia.
You all hear the voice of Whistler's imp for the first time in some time, and you feel his claws digging into you as he invisibly sits on your shoulder. And as you're, oh my gods, finally we're talking about something interesting.
Exactly right, my cupcake. I mean, Trix has a mind for these sort of things. Not my mind, of course, but it's what he likes.
Well, how many hours do we have until we must be at the opera?
About 2.
I mean, it's about 2 hours.
It might behoove us to get ready and not be late to this appointment with Mirt.
Agreed. I'm going to want a bath, first and foremost. I suggest the rest of us take baths.
I suppose I won't argue with that.
I will follow your lead when it comes to dressing fancy. Seems to be your forte, my friend.
It is. He's the best dressed.
It's always...
He's the best dressed I've ever met.
It's good to trust a professional. That's exactly why we're adventurers. We're professionals.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to do your hair?
Mm-mm.
No?
I can do it. I can do the hair.
You can do your own hair. Your hair's fantastic. Nami?
I can do Nami's hair.
I like my hair as it is.
I can braid it.
Of course.
It won't stay shut inside of a braid. You expect my hair to stay trapped inside of a braid?
It's true, it is wet.
It's flowing, like it looks like a waterfall coming out of her scalp. Alright, well, unless you as players wish to do anything else, we are going to fast forward to the moment you are descending the steps.
You don't want to roleplay our baths?
You're descending the steps at
Splish
Troll
splash.
Skull. You are in your finest, and you come down. There's a few adventurers, a few other folk kind of sitting around. No, I said Troll Skull. I meant the Yawning Portal. There's a few folks sitting around, and when you come down, it's like people kind of start whistling at you guys, and Durnan's like, looking sharp.
I mean, I would do the turn. I'd be like, I mean, just playing it up for the people there.
I would copy whatever Whistler's doing because I don't know what to do in this situation, so I'm just like...
Enid would be like, this whole thing, these whole things.
Enid rolled out in YOLO shorts.
And
I got him at Virginia Beach in the surf shop.
as you descend the main staircase, waiting for you at the bottom, dressed not nearly as nice as you all, but certainly look like they've cleaned up, you see a tall half-orc and a short halfling standing next to him. And they kind of fold their arms as you all descend the stairs, and the halfling is like, alright, well, you all looking right nice, if I do say so. Right nice indeed. And the half-orc is like, they do indeed, they look right nice, you all look quite nice.
Only Enid would recognize
Can I roll
correct?
to see
I
if
was
I
gonna
recognize?
say, you can roll to see if you recognize him. It's gonna be a roll, though, because it was a hectic night.
Was it perception?
Yeah, you can do perception.
14.
He definitely looks familiar. I think you can come to it in a moment. The halfling is like, allow me to introduce myself. Name is Cuthbert Bindletoe. You can call me Cutty. This is my friend Garland. Now, as it happens, we've learned a little something about you all, haven't we, love? He's like, oh yes indeed, we've learned a little something about you all, as the half-orc kind of towers above you, being very kind and gentle, like making way for you all, certainly not coming off as, overbearing in any way. The halfling speaks up again. Comes to find out that you all's been crossing all kinds of paths with, who is it all gone? He's like, well, from my understanding, it's the Zentarum, it's the Xanathar's Guild, possibly the City Watch, although we've heard that things are pretty amicable there. Here's the thing. I'll just lay it out to you, because one thing you can say about Cutty, he is straightforward. And he gets right to the point. Isn't that right, Connor? Oh, indeed. He gets right to the point. We both do. We both try to get right to the point for folks. Well, my friend and I here are pretty good at gathering information. And so, if there's anything you might be looking at, a bit of this, a bit of that, a bit of digging, we're pretty good at that. We know quite a lot of folk here. Quite a lot of folk. Indeed, we did, Cuddy. We know quite a lot of folk. Matter of fact, we once almost got poisoned by the witch Nithis, so that is true. We are now on friendly terms. Technically not allowed back in Golden Leaf, but that's because of us digging. Well, that is indeed what Cuddy's trying to say. Is that is somewhat of a misunderstanding, and we are on good. We know mostly.
I think I understand.
Yes.
I find this an intriguing offer, as information is exactly what I'm always yearning for. Wouldn't you say that too, Hydarion?
Always.
Nami?
Do you see what I mean, Colin? That's what I was saying. I was saying these folks look like they've got just about everything else covered up except the information games. Oh, indeed, you were saying that. My friend here, he said that about you all. Said you're quite capable, but perhaps lacking in... Yep.
Don't you have a violin?
Indeed I do. Yes. They kind of look at each other. He's like, okay.
We shared a bench.
Indeed we did. Yes, we did. You was looking quite frazzled that day. Indeed. She was looking quite frazzled, Cuddy.
And
she
you were very kind to me that day. Just almost a friend.
I likes to try to look out for the folks who is downtrodden, the folks who is like, that's what we're trying to do. Me and Garland. Indeed. Oh, indeed. But also a little gold in our pockets. Never heard. Indeed. What is a rising tide raises all boats? That's what they say around here.
It is what they say quite frequently around here.
It's just that.
Well, I suppose the question is, would we pay you by the bit of information, or would we have you on retainer?
Well, we could do either, but, here's what we likes to say. We likes to look at this more as a trusted partnership. Isn't that right, Cuddy? He's like, indeed. We like to think about it more like we're compatriots. So here's what we'll offer. You ask us to overturn something, find something, look under some rocks, get some information for you. Indeed. We'll look under everywhere, find anything out we can. You pay us then based on the strength of the secret.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think it would save us a bit of time. I'm never above paying somebody to do something I personally don't want to do.
Well, you're quite wise. And here's, allow me to help you share your mind, Nami, as it were. And the little one's like, indeed. As my friend Garland was saying here, your former captain, Araños. Well, he's none too happy with yous. Isn't that right, Garland? Oh, he is none too happy indeed. Oh, no. No, sir. He is looking for retribution. Indeed he is. And back to Cuddy. He kind of steps up onto the bottom step, puts his arms out, it's like, that one's free. That's all in the spirit of forming a partnership, but I would watch your backs because he is none too happy.
It's also incompetent at navigating a ship.
Or keeping one.
Also true.
A captain has money, resources to expend to get retribution.
I don't understand. We didn't do anything wrong.
Well, from what we hear, we came back with a cargo hold full of useless goods. And we're not judging, believe me. Oh, no. Not judging at all, loves.
We did do that, yes.
What did you say your rate is?
Well, depends on the strength of the secret. Would you need us to find out? And they both kind of lean in.
We know nothing about this Scarlet Demon Sisterhood. We don't really have the time if Madame Zuzu is coming tonight.
True enough, but that may be a path that we can go down later anyway. Frankly, we know about Xanathars. We know about the Zenter. We don't know about this one though, do we? And I don't like that one bit.
So are you saying that we do find out about this one? The Scarlet Demon Sisterhood?
It would be a nice quick one to judge the strength of this new partnership.
Alright, Scarlet Demon Sisterhood. Got it. Any other information? Any leads you can give us before we get moving on it? You won't be disappointed, will they, Cuddy?
Well...
Indeed.
I guess we have an address that... Did he say the insignia is still...
712 blah 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 street. And
Sure, it's over there by the seawall.
We are looking for their connection with the Meridia Udazon.
somebody went disappearing. There'll be strange sigils. I think this place has well been cleaned up. But any you can find that apparently the graffiti that was written was absolutely unequivocally said the Scarlet Demon Sisterhood.
Alright. You give us 1 night, 24 hours. We'll meet you tomorrow night, wherever you'd like. We'll have some information for you. You'll have 15 gold pieces for us, or we'll walk another way. That information will bear fruit. Oh, my name isn't Garland.
Is your name Garland?
Of course, yes. Always has
I
been.
think that is a risk we should take. A captain should know his crew and should build relationships with this crew. We should assemble a crew. 4 is too few to sail a ship, but 6 here can accomplish great things.
I like the metaphor. Yes. That will be agreed. You can. We will either be here or at Trollskull Manor, as I'm sure you've already heard.
Oh, indeed we have. Indeed we have. You won't be disappointed. Pleasure making your acquaintance. And you all have a wonderful time at the opera. If you see Nifbis there, tell her we said hello. Tell her she does still owe us a drink. And ask her when we can come back.
Fair enough. We shall. I appreciate you cutting, Garland. I have high hopes for this relationship.
As do we. Indeed we do. Once we heard your name being thrown about, kind of on both sides, we figured, we could just whisper about them, or they look like approachable folks. We could just come and offer our services.
I do have one more bit, actually, to add if we're going to carry on this partnership.
Of course.
And frankly, it's a bit of a linchpin here.
They both kind of lean in.
We'll have to give no information about us beyond what is already common knowledge to anyone. Unless we have other information we're willing to let you pass on.
That sounds right. So misinformation if you'd like us to. We're pretty good at that. We know our way around the bars, don't we, Cuddy?
That we'll get to, for sure. But that's part of this agreement.
Discretion is my middle name. Not literally. Could be. Could change it. Thought. Could I elbows him?
And we can offer the same to you.
Alright. That sounds like a deal. Discretion. Mum's the word.
We have no time to draw up a physical contract, but we can have a verbal agreement on a handshake.
They both kind of reach and just both kind of shake your hand.
I will lean in and be like, and breaking a contract with me is unwise. I'll waken them.
But I'm sure you already know that.
Indeed we do. Indeed we do. Pleasure making all of your acquaintances. Indeed, have a great time tonight. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And we'll see you all tomorrow night, right about this same time.
Thank you, my dears.
They both kind of give like a little half bow, like, alright, let's go. Let's enjoy it. And they kind of walk out.
I think that will prove fruitful for us in the end.
A little expensive, though. A lot of expensive, though.
But they've been here much longer. My plan was to have to go out, which I still plan to do at different times, but luckily they've come to us. We don't have to find anyone else yet, though we should start building a network.
While expensive, it does save us a considerable amount of time to get a steady income that we hardly have to work for flowing for us.
Beyond the more dangerous secrets we're looking for, having 2 knaves like that rolling around talking about the blue boat could help profits.
On top of the Finders of the Deep, if we were looking for startup money.
Indeed.
We do need to save 2,000 gold pieces.
That we do. We might... If we could get even just a chunk, we might be able to do it in payments. Each job won't... We don't have to do it all at once, I don't think. But whatever the first bit is, we'll have to pay for that. Then the next, then the next, then the next.
Well, maybe if we can figure this out, the landlord will hire us.
expected.
True.
Understood.
You're right, it seemed like they had something that they wanted.
If we can go back and tell him.
I think they'll find us. We can negotiate. Also, we were invited to the opera tonight to meet somebody. I doubt that it's just to make our acquaintance.
It could be. They could have just heard that we're just good friends.
We could have.
Well, don't forget, last night I gave... Who was it? Heidi? I think I gave you my lucky 4-leaf clover.
Oh, yes. That was this, yes?
I'll be taking that. Thank you.
You might need it if our incompetent captain is currently seeking vengeance.
Well, aside from that, you were carrying it, and lo and behold, we got this invitation. So, maybe some money will just fall right into our laps.
True.
Private box C at intermission.
And you all proceed to the C ward, where the opera is being held, I presume. And as you all approach, the closer you get, it is clearly a spectacle. People around you are dressed completely over the top. Like, this is their premiere event. You see, like, you know, one...
Is it like an award show?
Yeah. One person is walking with a dress that has, like, 15 people, like, carrying the train behind. And, you know, just people in crazy... Like, there's, like, a crown that's, like, 4 feet tall on someone's head. Just crazy, crazy stuff. And you all come in and you just see what are presumably nobles, merchants, all over the place. And I mean, it's just a choking sea of people. And there are waiters handing out hors d'oeuvres. You don't see anyone you immediately recognize for quite some time. So you're somewhat keeping to yourselves.
Do we look like really out of place?
You don't look out of place, but you definitely look like you're not part of the crew.
We definitely look more average than everybody else.
Like you look like you have general admission seats. And
Yeah.
you do, right? So, but people are generally polite. I mean, some people are like, oh, hello. It's kind of as they're moving past you. I don't think anyone really stops to speak with you necessarily. But as you're walking in, you see a Triton standing and talking to someone, and he's in like stark, like pressed white. And it's got like a mandarin collar, and it's got these like silver brooches all over it that look like different sea life, almost like a starfish and a clam and like a swordfish kind of around the collar. And he's just speaking to someone, kind of shaking hands and eating some of the hors d'oeuvres.
I think I would approach him. Excuse me for one moment.
He's like, oh, hello.
Greetings. I never thought I would see another on shore.
Well, we do have to maintain relationships, don't we?
May I ask your name and title?
He says, I am Admiral Rissad Bechleim.
Admiral Beckline. How do you do? I am Hydarian Alorsath.
Hydarian. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
This is mine.
First time in Waterdeep.
I've been here for a couple of days now. It is different.
Taking in the city. I've been here for 45 years now. Come to know the city quite well. How are things back home?
I have not been home in a good couple of years, I will admit. I did serve my time in the Royal Triton Army, and now earned leave aboard a sailing ship, and I am currently part of an adventuring party.
Wonderful. That sounds interesting. Is that Lady Muggs? You'll forgive me, please. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Of course.
He heads off to talk to some nobles. You all kind of see the somewhat snub reception of it.
That was not quite what I expected.
That seemed a bit Asha to me.
Oh.
So, when Nami ran into someone that looked like her, they were super happy, and that guy wasn't.
Triton society is rarely a happy one these days. They seem to think no one appreciates them and that it must be constant conflict against their perceived enemies. And it seems the Admiral has lost the water between his ears and has gone dry.
Nice.
I
I'm gonna give you inspiration for that. Yeah, pretty good. It's a good saying there.
He does not value the kinship that it seems Nami's people value, which I think all of Tritons could do with.
And right as he finishes that thought, the lights kind of dim and then come back up. And just as they do, Neverember kind of pushes his way in. It's like, you all made it. Wonderful, wonderful. I hope you enjoy the show. We haven't much time. They're seating now. I hope things are going well for you all.
They are indeed, my lord.
Wonderful, wonderful. Do speak with Mert. I think it could be lucrative for you. I'll see what I can do to continue connecting you all. I certainly owe you a great deal. Hi, Darian. I'm so glad to see you doing well.
It is nice to be alive, I would say.
He kind of clasps you on the shoulder and is like, good, good. Glad I could help there.
Thank you.
Well, it was nice running into you all.
Thank you for the tickets.
Of course, of course. Enjoy your time here. Kind of raises a fluted glass to you all. All right. Goes up. You can see him going upstairs to one of the private boxes, perhaps. And you all filter in the general admission, going through these big gilded doors. The room smells phenomenal. It smells of mixing perfumes and incense that's been burning. You can smell the hors d'oeuvres that were cooked. It's just like you're overloaded with good smells. Everything's beautiful. There's torches and sconces everywhere, but most of the lighting is actually coming from magical light. You can see chandeliers that clearly have continual flame cast on them all over the place. And in fact, they seem to be able to be controlled because they kind of lowered and raised to sort of let you know that it's time to enter.
They have an Alexa.
Yeah. Someone's up like, Alexa! Alexa's a wizard? Yes, my lord!
Oh my
Stop
god.
listening.
You all come in, you filter in with kind of all the rest of the populace, everyone taking their seats. Eventually a hush comes over the crowd as you can see these great curtains. You're a good 40 rows back. Not even quite the nosebleed, but you've got multiple terraces behind you. And you can look around and see all these private booths. Right? There's all these little private booths with people watching. You see some people have the binoculars on the end of a stick, kind of holding them up, to watch. And as you all are watching, these big black curtains are closed there, and a single figure walks out on the stage, and a spotlight actually lights up and comes, and you look back and you can see this curved, polished silver mirror with a light reflecting onto it. And this figure addresses the crowd. With domineering hand, she moves the turning wheel. Like currents in a treacherous bay swept to and fro, her ruthless will has just deposed once fearful kings, while trustless still, from low she lifts 5 conquered heads. No cries of misery she hears, no tears she heeds, but steely-hearted laughs at groans her deeds have wrung. Such is the game she plays, and so she tests her strength. Of mighty power she makes parade, when one short hour sees desolation from utter happiness grow. And he bows, and as he does, the orchestra strikes a hit. And he recedes off the stage just as the curtain peels open, and the music swells. The curtain peels back to reveal a skillfully crafted set of a sleepy farming town. Green rolling hills painted on thin plywood in the background, and a miniature keep rising from the center of the stage. 2 actors dressed as sentinels stand atop the keep, holding their spears. One of them dramatically yawns. Turns to the other one. Truly a lovely day in greenest. What sayst thou, Bartholomew? And the actor replies, Aye, with the harvest nearly complete, there is naught but wine to be drunk, and women to be wooed. The audience kind of laughs a little bit. And as they laugh, they both stop and look into the audience, past you all. Bartholomew, what strange creature is that? Be it a griffin that approacheth? Perhaps a giant eagle looking for a fat donkey to feast upon? Ha ha ha! The room is filled with a loud roar, and the audience all looks behind them as an illusory blue dragon swoops over the top of you all, and you even have to kind of duck your head a little bit as you feel the breeze from it. Both men cower beneath the wooden crenellation of the artificial keep, and the crowd all gasps, and you see this great dragon flap its wings. It flies around the audience chamber a couple of times, and then it lands on the tower. And the illusion gives way to puppetry. You can clearly see this blue puppet dragon being controlled by puppeteers unseen. And a voice booms. I am the great Linethon, scourge of the deserts. Are there none here brave enough to oppose me?
Fucking Lenethon, I hate him so much.
As he speaks these words, actors dressed as kobolds yip and scurry onto the stage. They've got spears, and they're poking at peasants who are dramatically like, ah! Finally, a voice cuts above the din, and they all quiet down. Feminine but strong, terrifying and sing-song. I will oppose you. A beautiful elf with nearly white flowing hair strides into view, holding a sword aloft. As will I. A half-elf actress wearing wooden tiefling horns and red body paint strides behind her. Not without me! The great Salos Zazawala, a life actor, does a somersault onto the stage and, breaking the fourth wall, looks to the audience, and the audience break into uproarious laughter. And with that, the play goes on for some time, and we're going to take a break. We'll be right back, everybody.
Oh my.
All right, welcome back. Thank you all for sticking through the break. Quick little bit of news, y'all. Number one, we have an Extra Life event coming up November 3rd where Kelsey from the Arcane Library will be here. We're going to be playing D&D all day. We're going to start the night before the 2nd. So we hope you guys can join us. I know a lot of people are doing Extra Life streams then. I just posted the link in the chat. If you guys want to donate, that is a great cause. It goes straight to the Children's Hospital of Richmond. And I actually had someone from the hospital reach out and thank us. We've raised a little over $300 now. So thank you all so much for that. Our goal is to raise $500. The day hasn't even come yet. So let's see if we can pull that out of the water. Yeah. This is money that goes to a very good cause. People who need it way more than anyone,
Friends of mine work at that hospital, and trust me, they need it.
Awesome. Okay, number 2, we are naming the episodes of Waterdeep Dragon Heist. So if you see something that you think would make for a great name, post it in the chat, and if I pick it, I'll throw you a shout out. So.
It cannot be Swamp Bonk episode 1,
no,
2, 3.
It cannot be Swamp Bonk. Not
that.
It can't be Swamp Bonk the Chronicles. Okay, with that.
Why not, though?
Swamp Bonk.
We cut ahead to the end of Act 1, where a dazzling, choreographed fight takes place on a stage made up to look like Skyreach Castle. It's on hydraulics, and it'll actually lift, and the characters will slide on it. They're doing flips. They just do this awesome fight against a huge white dragon, again, a puppet dragon kind of crawling all around the stage. People are entranced. It's wonderful. You guys are, you choose your own reaction as a character, but it is a spectacle. It is laced with magical effects that take it over the top. And finally, the heroes are emoting, being battered, beaten, but victorious. The actress playing Innes speaks up. The dragon is defeated, and the white mask is recovered. The castle is saved, but the mighty Blagothgus gave his life, speaks the Nithbis actress. A huge figure walks on. A muscular human wearing platform shoes disguised to look like feet. His body is painted gray with dark markings all over, and he speaks in a deep, booming voice. The giants will stand with the Sword Coast. I am Kothai, Brimskeer, the rock upon which the wave breaks. I will join you, and together we will defeat Tiamat. All of the heroes raise their swords as the curtain drops, and the orchestra goes into the interlude music. Before people get up, the spotlight comes again on the person who spoke at the beginning, and he strides out and says, "We are honored today by the presence of 2 of the heroes themselves." And a spotlight lights up on the opposite side and moves towards a private box that you all can lean and just kind of barely make out. But there you do see the unmistakable figure of Kothai, a great Goliath barbarian, as well as a elf woman with white hair wearing a silvery white dress.
Y'all can't even invite Nithbis to the Opry.
Nithbis too busy right now. She stands and matronly bows and sort of does a kind of a graceful wave to people, and Kothai's like, kind of mimics the behavior a little bit. People all start clapping and cheering as the lights come up. What do you all do?
That lady looks very familiar to me.
Well, my dear, she should. That is the closest to a divine god that raised you.
That is what I meant. I had no idea she accomplished such things.
Oh, that's true. You don't know the full story, so this is both informative as well.
It is interesting to see their group come together and work together. There are much similarities. As we started as 2 different groups and forced into one, and now we work together, I would say, very well.
I can tell you that if somehow we could strike a blow against the hells as they did with Tiamat, I would feel quite accomplished.
Very powerful. I've heard secrets that the big one, Kothai, he never gets on a ship. He refuses. I've heard he's so heavy it would sink a ship.
That is not possible.
They travel by wind, though. They don't even need a ship. They just walk on the wind. Isn't that crazy? Do you think it's even possible? I've heard of it. Never seen it.
I think it's possible. I've heard that my dear cousin Nithbis collects all sorts of fingers, ears, eyeballs, teeth from those who would oppose her, just for study.
And that Salos is the same one that
Saved our ass?
saved us. More like pitied us, but yes.
And we've all seen the great Ennis's beauty. And the rebuilt Church of Anilor, which...
Yep, definitely seen that.
Left our mark on it, as it were.
Seen it, never heard of it.
We should
make our way to Mert.
Met at Private Box C according to its note.
Mert. I don't know what kind of name Mert is.
Oh, well, it is not a common Triton name, but it could be shorthand for one.
Like
That's
Murtimus? Mertalamu?
It draws hint from Triton language of Maritimus.
As you'll make your way through the crowd, you see, towering above people, Kothai, who is just, thank you. He's just leaning down, shaking hands. People are, waving to him.
Oh man, I wish we could feature his portrait right now.
And as you walk by, you hear him correcting a lot of things. He's like, it didn't actually happen quite that way, but instead, Anglot, she, he'll set the record straight a little bit. And is patting him on the back, and she's talking to people. She catches your eye, and is just kind of nods to you from across the room, and goes back to speaking to people.
She's like, bitch, I made you.
Yeah. You're mine. You all make your way up some stairs. And you see the private boxes, and they've got big gilded double doors, and you come across private box C. Come in.
We'd open the door.
You open the door, and you find the room is, first of all, lavishly appointed. There is on a folding tray, kind of like waiters use before transferring food to the table, a big tray of food. A single individual sitting in a large plush chair. He is holding in his hand gold binoculars that are sort of, resting on the banister, looking out onto the stage. This is what this gentleman looks like.
Oh my.
Yay.
I'm about it.
Okay.
Looks like my Nana.
I hope your Nana's watching tonight.
And you all come in. And
From beyond.
He takes a bite of cake. Says, "Oh, Runel spoke very highly of you. Let me know. You were more than capable, trustworthy, and discreet. These are exactly the qualities my organization's always seeking."
Are you an actor?
I'm ready, Comrade Mert.
Glad to find that one out. glad to bust
I didn't
that
hear
one out.
you practicing that one in the shower, so
Yeah.
surprise.
Time for the shampoo.
I apologize.
Reminds me of the heady days when I needed shampoo.
What? Would you mind repeating yourself, please? Thank you.
Are you serious?
No, we heard you just fine.
Wonderful. Renee spoke very highly of you. Said you're interested in a job.
That we are. Many jobs.
Wonderful. I work on behalf of an organization you've probably heard of. But our members, quite discreet, quite secretive. They're information brokers, gatherers. Have you heard of us?
Information is a secretive trade, but a valuable one. Those who ply in it like to keep their names secret.
What are you called?
Oh, my dear. Please, we don't speak of such things in our company. It is thinly veiled, yes, but
I believe
nevertheless.
your organization, of course, is named after a musical instrument that sounds nearly like a voice, but reveals truth.
Indeed. See, you've heard of us. Then you know our reputation.
I do indeed. Well, what reputation makes it out, I suppose.
Indeed. We're not as brash as our allies, but it's important work nonetheless. Well, have I heard incorrectly, or are you looking for work? Would you be interested?
We could be persuaded.
Not much persuaded, just paid.
Hope I wouldn't have to do too much persuading. I'm not asking you to become full-blooded members, unless you're interested. Merely performing some duties. What say you?
Well, I think before we agreed, we are very much interested. We would need to talk about the pay, though, as that is our primary concern at the moment.
Of course. You'll understand that your first jobs won't exactly be the most lucrative.
Of course.
You have to establish a level of trust. The word of a noble is quite powerful, but it's not the end-all, and it wouldn't be the first time a noble such as Renee has been hoodwinked, as it were. I've got your first mission, should you choose to accept it.
We would need some upfront pay, I think, but otherwise we are fairly open to most jobs.
Upfront pay, you say?
Only about half. That's our going bit. You would know where to find us.
Indeed I would. Indeed I would. Only because you come from such a good recommendation. The Neverembers have always been a friend of mine, no matter whether they've fallen from favor here in the city. One of the drays working in the city is pulled by a talking mare named Maxine. Locate her, find out if she's learned the identity of any Zint operatives, and if so, determine their whereabouts. It's a simple job. Talking horse. Even the handler doesn't know. She keeps an eye on the passengers.
Interesting.
Well, that sounds easy enough.
Find her in the North Ward.
Would one assume that she's there during the daytime and rest at night?
That would be accurate. The job isn't glorious. Certainly won't have any bards writing songs about it, but I can pay you 20 gold on the promise of future work. If you're not interested in our aims or goals, or you're not looking to assist us in the future, then there's no reason to perform this duty. Do you catch my meaning?
Your organization is widespread and well known. Though I think if this were anybody else, 20 gold would not be much, though. This should be easy. You're saying that we do not need to track down or confront any of these entering. Merely make sure that they are where they are located.
This is what you might call a test job. The information gleaned is probably what we already know. This is to test your mettle. I haven't told you where Maxine's station's up, and I won't. Take it or leave it, but 20 gold pieces is a day's work.
True enough. Are we in agreement?
Don't think that should be very much a question. I think it seems easy enough for us.
Agreed, Nami.
I'm in.
Well, then we're in agreement.
Wonderful. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. I hope you're enjoying the show.
Quite incredible. I've never seen theatrics like it, to be honest with you.
It is much better than a dockside show, that is for sure.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it for a second. How are you finding Waterdeep? You're all relatively new, aren't you?
I found it quite accommodating and interesting. All this blood in the streets, one wouldn't have expected from the Jewel of the North.
Indeed. I've called this place home for some time.
It is fairly solid on the ground, but it ever changes like a wave. I enjoy it. It keeps me on my toes.
Well spoken, Triton.
Poet.
Very well. You have your job.
All right.
That we do. We'll just need that first half up front as we spoke of.
Of course. Momentarily. Reaches into a pouch on his belt. Counts out 10 gold. In some silver, so you each get 2.5. Hands them out. I know it's not much. It's more than you'd find with any of the trades. And it's only the beginning if you're interested in helping us. If you're as capable as Neverimber says, there is money to be made. And information to be brokered.
That's also good, of much interest to us. Though gold's our primary concern for now, information is worth far more than gold in the long run.
You've got the looks of an agent all over you.
Do I?
Let me know if you're interested. There are many benefits.
I shall take it under dear consideration.
Of course. Well, enjoy the rest of the show.
As you do.
I look forward to your report.
We shall see you soon. I suppose we should come back to find you, or should we show up?
Glad you'd ask. Attention to detail, I like it. You can speak to 3 Strings at the Yawning portal. He's made quite a report on you. You sound like you're quite industrious.
Please, let anybody know that it was a mere joke about the Kraken, and I apologize for any resources that were spent.
We know. The 3 Strings know. He's much smarter than you give him credit for.
I don't doubt it. He had to be. His plane is god-awful.
His plane's quite lovely, but not there. No one pays attention.
True enough.
All right, well,
We should get back to our
Pleasure.
seats.
I'll bow.
And starting.
Bow and bounce.
all right. You all have a moment to yourself as you've left the private room.
I'm confused.
About 3 Strings?
No, this is in character.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Rude.
Okay. About what?
What group does he work with?
Oh, the Harpers.
What group is the Harpers?
Oh, got it. Who are the Harpers?
Right. The Harpers are a twofold organization. They search for secret and relevant information wherever they can find it. They also mean to keep the secrets to the best of their ability. Bit different than something, say, the Ember Enclave. They're druids. They believe in preserving the world. Well, the Order of the Gauntlet is probably something our beautiful Hydarion would want to join. The hand of justice is swift and fierce.
So it's interesting at the very least. They sounds like they trade in information, which is really how the wars are won. Misinformation spread equals men dying. That is.
I'll say it's a rare thing. They don't much share information. Maybe willing to pass a few breadcrumbs, but overall, the secrets that they hold are vast.
That means they're the ones in power.
Mm.
The one with the information is the one who wins the war. Always.
True enough. They have no desire to lead, though, from what I know. None of the Harpers go on to be on B advisory councils. An interesting thing. I might lead with that information.
As much as I don't mind the risk, it seems to me that taking this job and future jobs with the Harpers has less repercussions than if we were to get involved in other things.
Exactly.
Might be better for the business side of things as we move along.
I'm sure they'll have some deniability, thus they're not sending out the other Harpers. At the same time, It might be as close as we get to be officially sanctioned by a order in town.
It also mostly covers our tab for information brokering tonight.
Sounds
Any
good to
more
me then.
Immediate.
I feel like Enid is probably just like,
Aided my dear.
Good point.
okay.
We're gonna get paid.
She doesn't have any idea.
And as you all come back out into the common area, people are starting to take their seats. Nami, you suddenly hear a voice in your head. And it's whispery, and it sounds somewhat magical. And it says, Nami, meet me out front. The alley 1 street over. Come alone. I have information about your father. You look around. You don't see anybody looking at you.
I just realized I need to use the thing. I'll be back.
Are you alright, Captain?
Yeah, I think I must have eaten something sickening this morning.
Do you need me to come with you?
Oh no, you don't want to see this.
Okay. You insist.
The lights go down and back up.
I'll be like, I suppose you better hurry. The show's about to start.
I'll try. Ugh.
Alright. You all take your seats. You head outside. There's a handful of carriages pulling up. A couple of people are leaving. Not a lot, but people who just look like they wanted to show up for the intermission, basically, and leave. You go to the next street over. It's a pretty nice neighborhood. You find an alley. Typical alley, what you'd expect. There's not necessarily dumpsters, but there's like big barrels and stuff kind of set aside. And you see someone kind of crouched, and she stands up. She's got a hood on. She's like, Nami, is that you?
It's me.
She's like, oh, thank God. She's like, I've got some really important information.
Who is it that's talking to me?
Just some woman. You've never met her.
Who are you?
She's like, oh, I come from,
Have we met before?
No, I don't think so. Pulls a dagger. Aranya sends his regards and tries to stab you. And that's where we're going to end for the night, everybody. We'll see you next time. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next Sunday, 7:30 sharp for Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Did you guys have fun tonight?
Yeah, sure.
Tight!
Yeah, sure. We all had fun.
Until we got shanked.
Nami got shanked.
There's the episode!
Nami got shanked.
The one in which Nami got shanked.
The one where Nami
People are
got
gonna watch it all the way through, like, Nami hasn't been shanked yet.
Where did Nami get shanked? Guys, I say we launch a raid on our friends' welcome party RPG.
Cool.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I love dying in an episode.
Sorry,
Me too.
We'll just black
You
down
accepted
that
the
river.
risk.
Yep.
We'll
What do you mean the
just
German
black down
accents
that
need to be practiced? They're perfect. I do a lot of bad accents, okay? That's my thing. That's what I do. Thank you all for hanging out. That was fun. Did you guys have a good time? You
I
guys
had a great
the,
time.
Great time, yeah.
the play?
It was a blast.
I absolutely loved the retelling of Tiamat.
Yeah, that was our first D&D session together ever. We basically threw retelling, so that was kind of fun to revisit, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, it was not accurate in any way. That's the fun.
Yeah. Except for Lenathon being a dick. That was accurate.
That is truth. That is truth.
And we did get a white mask.
That is
we
true.
did, yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Lydia.
Oh my god. What's the...
We'll see you next time. What?